Hey, welcome back to Brewtifully Made. Um, Here's another recap of a week of trying to be creative um, and navigating a lot of obstacles with my grief and trauma and find myself again. I swear this podcast has turned into this, and I apologize if this is not what you were here for, and you don't have to stay. But it's kind of just helpful to share in this way. So I'm just going to continue down this path, and you're just going to see this different evolution of creativity through all of what I'm dealing with. My little doggo had surgery last week and he's doing well. He had his dental cleaning and he had these growths on his body. They called them little tumors, but they were more like skin tags. And so he had those removed, and he's doing really well. And we have a great doctor out here in Seattle. My daughter took her little dog to her, and so I thought I would take mine to her, and he, has done really well. So I'm really glad we found someone that could help him, and that I'm able to take care of him. So he's doing well. Um, Also in the last week, I took the book character development class at the library, and it was with Vivian Lee, and she is a comic book or a comic artist. She developed this book bingo for the King County Library, and it's all these vegetables and fruit characters, just the sweetest platform. But then she taught a little character building class, and so I went to that class, and so I had to share here. I am a Kiwi. And I have my little granddaughters as little peas in a pod. And then I have my dog and cat as little blueberries, and I'm taking them on an exploration day of Seattle. So that's kind of what I decided to draw in the class, and it was a lot of fun. She's like, "Why are you doing a kiwi?" And I said, "Well, menopause. It's got the little hairs that we all get on the fruit." Right now I feel a little green. I'm a little, heart sick, and so that was also the basis of that character development. And yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny. I love my overalls. I had my overalls and my little glasses, and there's a little bracelet on there. Just really sweet. And she was giving us prompts, so there was like a little sketch paper that we got to like start on. And if you're watching the video portion, you can see some of my ideas as I was drawing and what I wanted to do, and then the character as I was doing it. We had like some markers, and I think there were some pastels on the table to use for materials. But also I have a copy of her cute little bingo. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see her little, look how sweet that is. She was super fun, and she gave me some ideas for an artist residency here in Seattle that you can sell your work in for 6 months and you help with the store. So I'm going to look into that, and that's very uplifting. I love having maybe that idea of getting to do that. Um, but yeah, I just had a really good time at that class and meeting her and getting to sit at a table with some new people, got to meet them. It was just a lot of fun, and I needed that space to do something creative. I told you I'm really good at having um, the ability to create when I'm given a prompt or a task right now. Freely doing it out of my head is really difficult for me. And yeah, I'm struggling with that. I've got to find my voice, and it's really hard right now. So it helps to be around a prompt or a goal or something that someone is saying, "I need you to make this for me." Um, that's helping me get back into that practice. I got into sewing this week. I made a applique for a vest that I bought at a resale, or not a resale, but a thrift store. So, got my sewing machine out, ordered some thread because I don't have like all of my materials out. Everything's still in boxes, so I just needed to get some thread and fabric. I don't have, I used to have unlimited fabric. I had a huge stash of fabric and that's gone. I don't have any of that now. So I had to get some fabric. I've been trying to find old, let's see. I went to Seattle Recreative and they had like little bundles. So I got some of those. I bought some dish towels that I cut up. Let me show you that in this space, and used that for some of the pieces. So I just cut up some dish towels and I put the adhesive on the back and pressed it, and then I did my applique stitching on top. So yeah, just trying to diversify. I found the cutest towel that I'm going to turn into shorts and a little t-shirt. I love the terry cloth, and this was like a vintage one. Maybe it's not too vintage, but I just love the colors in it. So I'm going to do that. Um, but yeah, so just trying to sit down and create to get those ideas and practices started again. It's just, really been hard. And I I I want my motivation back. It's been 3 months. It's been 3 months this week on the 13th. And it's just unimaginable still. Again, trying not to cry every time we talk about this. Um, but while I was at the library, I went a little early to take some books back and check out some new books. I really never go there with a goal or a list of things that I want. I had one book that I wanted to look for. My therapist asked me to look for it, and it was out. So I think I'm going to try to either get it or download an Audible or something of it. But while I was looking through that section, I think it's so ironic how the universe guides you into things. I found this book and it's called Different After You, and it's by Michelle Hernandez. Um and it's Rediscovering Yourself, a Healing After Grief and Trauma. And I sat down and started to read it because I was waiting for the class to start. Beautiful library in the Shoreline area. So at the very beginning, you know, and I think also in the back, it talks about how she started Camp Widow. So when I got home, I looked up Camp Widow, and there's a branch of that here in Seattle. So it is through Soaring Spirits International. So I signed up to be part of that group, and they meet, and there's a meeting this Sunday. And so, it's at a coffee shop, I believe. And so I think I want to go. And it's all about different stages of widowhood. And they're all divided up. You can find people who are newly widowed, um, people that are in your age bracket, um, how you became a widow. There's segments of that. Um, I listened to one of the recordings about the stages, and it was really, a lot of what my therapist is already doing with me now, and realizing the thoughts that I'm having aren't being created in my head alone. Other people have thought these things too. Um, I haven't really ran across the level of trauma that I'm dealing with, but I'm glad. I don't want anybody else to have to deal with what I'm dealing with. Um, there are versions, but yeah, so it was so ironic that I just happened upon this book and I checked it out, and then there are resources that are associated with what she's doing here close to me. So, I'll let you know how that goes. And my art or creative grief group is next week, and so that'll be before my next episode, and I'll let you know how that goes. So, yeah, it's it's a lot of layers. I met with a volunteer with the VA on Monday at the senior center to talk about my second denial for DIC and for help from the VA. they aren't doing anything for me right now. And so, I have to resubmit everything. They aren't pulling my husband's medical records, and they aren't, according to the gentleman that sat with me and looked at everything, he went through the submission stuff and they're just blanks where they don't have that information. And he's like, I don't understand, even just based on the service that your husband did and the pain level that he was at, why they are denying you. So, now I am getting statements from people, um, to send in, and the burden of this on a widow was with someone who had 22 years service and with the combat that he had, this shouldn't this shouldn't be this. This is a very convoluted system. The VA in Ohio is still trying to help me, and then I have to get a representative here in Seattle, but I can't have them both working on it. So the one in Ohio is trying to get this done before I get transferred to Seattle. Um, and I have people in Cleveland that's trying to help me. I have people in Canton that's trying to help me, and it's aggravating. It's frustrating. It's it it baffles me because the VA clinic that he was going to and the one that I went to with him about his PTSD and sat with him and begged the doctors to help him, that's not even in his submission. That's not even in his record that they sent for this review. And so now I have to have I don't know what I can do to get them to see that this is in his records where I beg them to help him. And it's so overwhelming. I don't understand this VA system. I don't understand, I mean, any of it. It's so, frustrating. And so yeah, I just, am dealing with that and, finding more of the things that he was doing and trying to get that submitted into his records, um, and things that he didn't share with his doctor. I It's just a lot, and and now I've got, his coworkers are trying to help, and his, past employment is trying to help, and I'm grateful for their help. I'm grateful that they're, submitting stuff on that because, honestly, they saw him more than me. They they were with him, they heard his rants, they talked to him, on a daily basis for 13 years. Um, and those were guys that he shared stuff, I'm sure, way more than he did with me. I even had to ask one of his coworkers what kind of dip he had because he hid that from me the entire time we were together. And I would tell him how concerned I was about that all the time when I would find something because he was hiding doing it. And he was so good at hiding stuff. And I didn't understand the depth of that until I was gone. And I'm like, what kind did he buy? Because he bought it the day he died too. It was on his receipt, and I had no idea what kind. I didn't know. No idea. Because he would never tell me. And he would always tell me he had quit and that he wasn't doing it anymore. And I know now that that was one of the many things that he hid. But because I was so worried about cancer and him never wanting to follow up with his dentist appointments because he was trying to hide it all the time. And it was another thing, you know, that you just realize you just don't know about some the littlest things and then the bigger things that you have to face and to deal with. And it it's just overwhelming. It's just overwhelming trying to deal with it all. And then as a creative, light, bright, social person, trying to find that in you again, it's just very daunting. And so I love having the goals of brightness and light and socialization that gets me out of this headspace, because I'm in it a lot when I don't have my kids around, when I don't have my grandkids around, when I'm not at an event, when I'm not forced to sit and watch my life unfold in a way that I wasn't expecting. And then it just spirals into, you know, this thought of grief. It's a bad cycle. It really is. I just don't want to cry. Trying really hard. Um, and watching programs that don't make me think about anything. I literally rewatched all of the Gilmore Girls like twice in a row since I've moved here. Just because one, he didn't like that show, so we didn't watch it together. And it was just something that I could have on in the background. And now, I don't know why, watching Frasier brings me so much comfort. It's not one that we really watch together, but it's based in Seattle. And so I'm finding watching that is helping me cope with moving here. I don't know why. I don't know. It's the comedy part, or when they mention little things about the area, and I'm like, I now know what that is. It's so stupid of why that makes me happy. Watching Frasier. But it does. And there's so many seasons of it, I can do it. And know that I can watch it for a while. And it just brings me so much comfort. Sleepless in Seattle's a little too heavy right now. I tried. And all I did was cry through the whole thing. But Frasier's fun. And it's helping me. And then just reading and writing some of my thoughts down. I don't know. I may not be dealing with this grief the right way, but please know I'm trying. Please know that I'm trying not to do it alone. I know people are worried about me. But I'm still here. I'm getting through it. And I'm still being creative, so thanks for supporting me. I'm trying to get my Instagram to 10,000. So if you want to follow me on Instagram on my creative side, not just my podcast, go to Brewtifully. I would appreciate it. That will help me. It actually will help me financially so I can get more sales for my mahjong. And I'm also looking to teach mahjong at the center that I go to. I talked to the activities director, and hopefully they will allow me to do that in September. It would be free. There's no cost. It's just a way for me to get out and get to play again. I miss playing. I miss hanging out. I miss the community I built. Everybody was wonderful. And I don't have that right now. My granddaughters made their mom sit down to learn how to play. She was so overwhelmed. She was just blown away how they understand. They're 6 and 8 and they can play. And we have so much fun playing, but I want my daughters to learn. Oh. But yeah. If you want to help me, those things will help so much. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Please stay beautifully made. I need you to know that means so much. Stay creative. Share your creativity. It's going to give me fuel to be creative too. So take care. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.